It's something that'll change the world and human life as we know it.
He knows. He's seen the light.
When Monty talks, it's painful.
Monty, you have been so instrumental in kind of pointing me in the right direction.
It was about looking at your character defects in spirituality.
It's the integration of clinical practices with the 12 steps.
It's an absolute pleasure. He certainly knows a lot of people. He's got a lot of energy. And sometimes when you don't have so much energy, he picks you up and carries you.
Having the Monty Man there certainly helps.
This is one of the places that is about the business of the solution.
The views expressed on this special broadcast of the Take 12 radio show do not necessarily reflect those of KHLT Recovery Broadcasting or its affiliates. KHLT is not affiliated with any particular 12-step fellowship.
Now here's that guy who's getting less popular minute by minute, your host, the Multi-Man.
Well, how do you do? How do you be out there, my friends, out there in radio land, internet land, and on and on it goes. Welcome to the show. This is the Monty Man here at take12radio.com on your internet dial. Let me pour my coffee here. Hey, by the way, if you're a coffee lover, and listen, these guys don't sponsor the show or anything, but I've got to give kudos to them. Bab's Coffee House out of Seattle. You ought to check them out. Check out their website. Just Google Babs. But our friend Ken Heffron from Fargo, North Dakota, on occasion will send me a bag, and this stuff's expensive. It's like, I think it's like $20 for 7 ounces or something, of this wonderful coffee. It's called Dancing Goats. That's the blend. It is marvelous. It is absolutely marvelous. If you are a coffee fanatic like I am, if you are a coffee connoisseur like I attempt to be, you have to try Dancing Goats. It's amazing. Bab's Coffee House. Check them out. All right. I'm just saying that because I really love that coffee. It is my favorite coffee of all time. Thank you, Ken Heffron. And Ken is, by the way, one of these guys that has financially helped us and supported us over the years here at Take 12 Radio. If you would like to do that, please feel free. We are listener supported and supported by sponsorship grants from people that are involved in the recovery process. And we that's how we operate. And nobody gets a paycheck here. This is a service organization. The money goes right into producing the shows, engineering the shows, our travel expenses, and so forth when we take the shows on the road to keep Take 12 Radio on the air. Hey, listen, I'm going to be talking today about something that I think is vitally important for many of you to hear, and particularly those of you who may never have dealt with this before, and you're perhaps dealing with it right now. And that is, if you have a loved one who is in need of an intervention, who is abusing drugs or alcohol, maybe they're a sex addict, maybe they're a food addict, whatever it is they are, but it is just wreaking havoc on their lives. Or perhaps you are a loved one of someone who's in recovery, but you see some relapse signs coming down the road, or you suspect that they are. You're going to be listening to several promos from not just people that sponsor our shows, but people that we support. We're pretty picky here at KHLT Recovery Broadcasting who we hitch our wagon to. We are an abstinence-based 12-step recovery radio station. I'm not saying that there's not a place for medication. I believe there is. I'm not saying there's not a place for harm reduction. I believe there is. But I have to tell you that what we're about here is abstinence. And we're very careful who we hitch our wagon to. And so you're going to be listening to some promotional ads that we have put together from some of our sponsors, not for the purpose of promoting them so much, this show, as to giving you some resources where you can get some help. Now, this is the question I have for you, and it's the question you should be asking the person in your life that may be suffering, that perhaps the ones, particularly if they're reaching out for help. This is the question. What are you willing to do? Not what are you able to do. We could talk about that at another time. But what are you willing to do? Are you willing to go to any length to help your loved one? Are you? And if your answer comes back, well, we don't have any money, or we don't have any insurance, or, they may lose their job, blah, blah, blah. No. I'm not asking you what are you able to do. I'm asking you what are you willing to do. Those other details can be worked out. But if there's not willingness there on your part, then there's little hope for your loved one. So I'm really talking to you guys. And for the active addict or alcoholic, or maybe perhaps those in recovery, welcome to the show too. But I'm really talking to friends and family members today. And we know that with 1 in 5 people being addicted to some form of mind-altering chemical, that every single one of you is affected. If not afflicted, you're affected by this. So whatever network you're listening to this show on, this show's for you. Because you may not know somebody in your immediate circles, but you're going to know somebody who knows somebody. And they need to be listening to this show. So here's some opportunities to listen to this show over again, and so you could have your friends of your friends or whatever listen. This show, if you're on the Bill Post Radio Network, will broadcast again. There's two chances to broadcast again at 6 o'clock and at 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And then in our archives at take12radio.com under Thursday. You click on the Thursday block, or you can click on the archives link at take12radio.com. And if you click on the Thursday block, just go to this show's archives, and you'll find this. And the title of the show is, helping your loved one. Helping your loved one. I'm writing that down so I don't forget. Okay. Helping your loved one. Okay, that is the link. And please replay it. Now, this isn't easy. Some of you are listening and are going, you know what? We've tried everything. We've introduced them to Celebrate Recovery. We've introduced them to Alcoholics Anonymous. They've gone to Narcotics Anonymous. They've done the church thing. They've been to Teen Challenge. They've been to Victory Outreach. They've been to City Team. They've been wherever. They've gone through outpatient. They've gone through inpatient. Nothing is working. You never, ever, 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 ever give up on the addict or alcoholic. Ever. You never do. My friend Neil Scott from Recovery Coast to Coast in Seattle says, how many chances do you give an addict or an alcoholic? The answer, my friends, is as many as it takes. Never give up. You never concede to the addict or the alcoholic. Ever. Never concede to the disease. That's rule number 1. So I'm going to be talking. I'm going to be talking about this and the seriousness of this. And some of you need to get off of your blessed assurance and stand up to the addict or alcoholic in your life and put down some boundaries and quit being codependent and quit screwing around. They're taking you and your kids. down a road that is destructive, and it is not doing any good, and you think you're doing them a favor by patting them on the little head and, giving them the car keys and forking out some more money, or, well, I can't kick my kid out on the street. I can't tell my loved one he can't come home. Well, what I'm going to suggest to you today is that if that's your attitude, then you're killing them. And you're going to have to stand before your Creator and give an explanation of why you participated in the murder of your loved one. Those are harsh words, but I'm going to tell you what, that's exactly what's happening. Now, if you don't know this information, you're not responsible. But once you know it, you need to do better. Once you know it, you are responsible. So if you don't want to hear this, if you don't want to have some great resources, if you don't want some help, and you just want to keep playing the game and going through this roller coaster ride with your loved one, then push the stop button or turn us off or whatever. Because that's what we're talking about. Okay? Yeah. I dropped my sheet here. Hold on one second. There. Sorry about that. All right. So, helping your loved one relapse, using number one health crisis in our world today, addiction. Addiction's a broad term. It can mean food, it can mean overspending, it can mean narcotics, it can mean alcohol, it can mean sex. Number one, though. All right. So, as I said before, you're going to hear many resources today. We're going to take 3 breaks, and then we're going to close with a song that you really need to listen to the words to. I'm going to tell you, it may just shake your tree a little bit. A song by Steve Dan Mills called "Where's My Child." Well, listen. Here's the thing: recovering from drug or alcohol addiction can be one of the most difficult ordeals you go through, or your loved one goes through, and definitely you going through it with your loved one. And unfortunately, many people who seem to be well on their way to finally beating their addictions end up relapsing. And they fall straight back into their old lifestyles. And some of you know what I'm talking about because you're watching your loved one do that again for the 100th time. Well, when this happens, it can be incredibly sad. It can be incredibly frustrating for you and your friends and family members and all of you guys who have invested so much of your time and energy and emotion into helping your loved one, helping them attempt to get their lives back on track, right? It's exhausting. Well, fortunately, if you are listening to this show right now and you are a friend or family member and you're undergoing treatment for drug and alcohol addiction yourself, you kind of get what I'm talking about. If you're a friend and family member that isn't an addict or an alcoholic and you don't get it, you don't understand, know this: it's okay that you don't get it. You can't fix what you don't acknowledge. You can't acknowledge what you don't know about, and I get that. So don't tune us out. If you don't know, learn. I want to give you some signs that a person may be on the verge of a relapse. And maybe you're suspecting right now that your loved one is on the verge of a relapse. And you're going, I think something's going on. Here's some signs. Are they romanticizing or longing for the old days? Are they believing they're strong enough to use or drink again without falling back into an addiction cycle? Oh, I can have a few beers. I'm okay. Are they starting to reconnect with some of their old buddies from their addiction days? Are those people popping up? Here's a key one. Are they becoming defensive and no longer able to accept constructive criticism? Now, I'm not talking about just surrounded around their addiction. I'm talking about all of a sudden is their personality defensive, and they're ultra sensitive to criticism, even constructive criticism. Are they beginning any of the patterns of denial that was present during their addiction? Again, oh, I'm okay. Has there been a major change in their attitude or behavior in any aspect? See, those of you who are not addicts or alcoholics of any kind, your behaviors can change, or your attitude can change, and it might be just because you're grumpy. But for somebody who has struggled with substance abuse, when their attitude changes, look out. Are they experiencing sudden feelings of depression and loneliness? They just seem to be having the blues a lot lately. Is their social game suffering? Are they, is that breaking down? Their social relationships? Are they feeling extremely stressed out and constantly tense? And here's a huge one I want you to pay very close attention to. As a wife or a husband or a parent or a child or whoever you are who is watching your loved one go through some suspicious behavior, here is something that I want you to really key in on. Are they resenting those who are trying to help them? Are they resenting it? Are they coming up with the yeah buts? Oh, well, that didn't work before. Or I tried that. You see, the addict will go to any length to make an excuse to continue to survive. That last gasp for air that the addict will take just to hold on to their substance. Are they losing the belief in the addiction recovery program that they were part of? Are they saying, that didn't work, I don't believe in it? Are they talking about, that they're just a failure? But I really want you to hone in on this thing. Are they resentful? Are they ultra sensitive when it comes to other people who are trying to intervene on their behalf? That is key. And I'm going to ask you something. Have you become resentful of the people that you asked into your life to help your loved one because you weren't qualified to do it? And when those people got, a little militant, because you have to with the addict, particularly if they're active, you got to remember that person is asleep. Their addict is alive and well and fully awake. And you cannot give the addict an inch. And if you become resentful because the people you've asked into your life to help you have gotten kind of firm, it's because they know what they're doing and you don't. Trust the process. You don't know what you're doing. You need assistance. And once you have that assistance, thank God for it. Don't be critical of it. One of the reasons I'm doing this show this week is because I know somebody right now who is in their active addiction again. Why? Because they're an addict. And because they won't or they didn't follow the instructions and the guidelines that were laid before them previous to this. They tried to do it their way, and they're still trying to do it their way. And their spouse is trying to do it her way, not taking direction, and it's not working. And some of you know exactly what I'm talking about because you are in that position. All right, we're going to take a break. And you're going to hear from two of our sponsors. And these are people that you can absolutely rely on when it comes to drug and alcohol recovery and treatment. I want you to listen to these because these may be a couple of choices you have to get help. All right? Check this out.
Free by the Sea is a drug and alcohol recovery center located in beautiful Ocean Park, Washington. This facility is amazingly gorgeous, but what's even more amazing is the integrity of the staff and the treatment provided for those wishing to recover from narcotic and alcohol addiction. The folks at Free by the Sea have a passion for presenting the solution to addiction for you or your loved one. To speak with an admission specialist, visit freebythesea.com or call toll-free 800-272-9199. This place is simply amazing.
As men and women who have recovered from utterly hopeless states of addiction ourselves, we know all too well what it's like to battle addiction daily. We are Origins Recovery Centers. Here at Origins, we have taken that which we have learned along the way, excised anything unhelpful and unnecessary, infused it with the latest medical research and innovative therapeutic methods, and created what we know to be the absolute gold standard in substance abuse treatment. And Origins provides the most preeminent aftercare and relapse prevention program available in the United States. For a free confidential clinical assessment, call toll-free 888-843-8935. That's 888-843-8935. Origins, delivering real solutions for real families.
I love it. I love it. I play a little Barry Manilow there because, this is kind of a heavy show, and I wanted to lighten things up a little bit. This is a heavy show. And, you guys that are listening that don't know what to do, I'm giving you some direction. Will you please follow it? Listen, let me tell you something. I'm speaking from experience. I've been working in this field from the beginning of my own recovery for going on 30 years. I am not the smartest match in the box, okay? But I know what I'm talking about when it comes to a couple of things. I don't know everything about everything, but I know a lot about a couple of things. And I know about treatment, I know about recovery, and I'm telling you that you need to understand that there is a solution to your loved one's issues and to your issues because they are your issues too. Sorry, they are. Matt Brown is one of the board members on my executive board here at Take 12 Recovery Radio. He is also the CEO of Freedom Interventions out of McMinnville, Oregon, but he works internationally. Matt is a flying machine. The guy flies all over the country all the time, helping people, intervening for loved ones, intervening with addicts and alcoholics on their behalf, getting them the help they need. This is his phone number. It's toll-free, 888-762-7557. There are many interventionists out there that are tremendous people, and he is one of them. He just happens to be on my board of directors. This is not a plug for his organization. This is a plug for you and for your loved one. You guys and your loved one, you deserve the best in help and assistance to help get your loved one well. I want you to call Matt. Listen, if you're going, I don't have any money. No, not what you are able to do. What are you willing to do? Because if financially you're not able to work in some areas with some treatment facilities and some helps and so forth, these people like Matt, people like Free by the Sea, people like Origins, and some of the others you're going to hear from today, they will work with you until they find a solution where you can get help for your loved one or yourself. They're not going to just say, well, you can't afford it, so sorry. That's not going to happen. 888-762-7557. Freedom Interventions. Follow the link here at take12radio.com. You need to get some assistance, and some of you need it today. Some of you right now should be pausing this show or stopping this show and calling Matt at that number I just gave you, 888-762-7557. Matt is one of the most qualified, one of the most capable, one of the most compassionate interventionists in the world. He's an amazing man. He knows what he's talking about. You can trust him. He's been there. He's done that. He's been where you are. He's a recovered alcoholic, recovered addict himself. He's amazing. Call Matt Brown or any of these that you're hearing today. But I'm really pushing Matt because he's on my board, and I got to tell you that I know him better than any of them, and you can trust him. But you've got to do what these people tell you to do. Whatever you're doing's not working, right? Let's talk again about this defiance that the active addict or alcoholic has, and they're just, maybe you're giving them one more chance. Okay, this is the last time. You've been saying that now for a long time, and you're out of steam. It's time to let somebody else take the reins, somebody that is qualified. Please consider what I'm saying, all right? Please stop the show right now and call that number, 888-762-7557. I want you to tell Matt that I sent you, that I personally recommended you to him. He will get, if he can't do it, he will get you in touch with the people who can. You need help. Now, some of you listening to this show going, well, I really don't know anybody that's struggling with addiction. Well, then you live in a cocoon, because you may not be aware of it, but I guarantee you know somebody that is. You may not be aware of it, but they are. 1 in 5, my friends. Now, some of you are pastors and priests and rabbis and spiritual advisors and your leaders in your places of worship. And you don't know what to do with some of these folks in your congregation. And you wish you did. And your answer to them is just pray harder. Just show up to more Bible studies. Just show up to more temple. Whatever. And it's not working. If a person has a broken arm, they don't go to their spiritual advisor to get it set. They go to their medical doctor. This is a medical problem. Now, yes, it has a spiritual solution, but a person has got to get some medical treatment. Now, I'm not talking about the heavy drinker or the drug abuser, the person that just needs to grow up. But you're not qualified to determine if that's the issue or not. There are people that are. And I'm talking about being able to determine if the person is truly a drug addict or an alcoholic. Do they have the obsession of the mind? Do they have the allergy of the body? And beyond that, is there trauma in their life that is causing the relapses, causing the abuse? Is there mental health issues? I know that's scary, you guys. But we have found that people that struggle with substance abuse, in every single case, there is trauma in their history. And most of us are not qualified to treat that. You need help. And just sitting around and laying your hands on them and praying for them over and over again, though that is extremely powerful, and ultimately that is who we're leaning on, is our Creator. God gave us modern medicine. God gave us the talents and the expertise of people in this field. When I'm saying medicine, I'm not saying pills necessarily. I'm talking about the treatment of. He's gifted people with this to help us. Quit playing doctor. Listen, I get it. It's difficult. You want to control the situation. You want to fix it. You can't fix it. Again, I'm talking to you guys that have loved ones and are family members, and you're listening to this show right now, and you've been wondering what to do, or you think you've tried everything. You haven't. You never give up. You never concede to the illness. All right, I want you to hear this piece for Freedom Interventions and Serenity Springs. Listen to this.
Treatment does not have to be voluntary to be effective. Sanctions and enticements from family, employment settings, and or the criminal justice system can significantly increase treatment entry, retention rates, and the ultimate success of drug treatment interventions. Freedom Interventions provides the direction necessary to get the help of an addiction intervention. We assist with selecting a treatment experience appropriate for the unique needs of your addicted loved one and provide 6 months of ongoing support to ensure success for everyone involved in the transition into real life. If you know someone who needs a life-saving intervention, visit freedominterventions.com or call 888-762-7557. That's 888-762-7557. Freedom Interventions, providing drug and alcohol interventions and a continuum of care services to clients and their families.
Hey there, this is the Monty Man from Take 12 Recovery Radio, and I am proud to introduce to you a new, fully licensed, all-male residential treatment facility located on the beautiful east coast of Florida. Serenity Springs Recovery Center is a 10-acre spiritual sanctuary fostered through an intensive 12-step foundation of recovery. Addiction is a disease that deteriorates the body, punishes the mind, and destroys the spirit. It needs to be attacked on all three of these fronts, and Serenity Springs does just that. A unique facility that is committed to providing exceptional individual care in small group settings while utilizing their experienced and dedicated clinical and support staff of licensed therapists and doctors. 30, 60, and 90-day individualized treatment programs are available. Call 386-423-4540 or visit their website at serenityspringsrecovery.com. That's 386-423-4540. Serenity Springs, making a life-changing investment into your recovery.
Wake me up before you go. Don't leave me hanging on like a yo-yo. Wake me up before you go. I don't want to miss it.
Yes, some of you are saying, man, I wish my husband or my wife or my child would wake me up before they went out on another binge. They're not going to wake you up and tell you they're going to do that. They're not going to tell you they feel like relapsing. They're going to relapse. There's a thing that we say in recovery circles, call before you drink, call before you use. Yeah, like right. Listen, if you've determined to drink or use, your addict is alive and well, even if you haven't put the substance in your body, and you're probably not going to be calling anybody except for your dealer or your bartender. So because they're not capable of making the call, my friends, you need to make the call. 888-762-7557. Matt Brown, Freedom Interventions. You heard the promo for it. You also heard from Serenity Springs, an incredible program. It's a men's program, and there are women's programs too, my friends. I do not recommend co-ed programs. A lot of these facilities have men's and women's centers. They're co-ed in that they accept both men and women, but the living arrangements are separate. That's important. Yay, gads, this is a horrible topic you have to even address, but we have to. People are dying right and left, and if you're not part of the solution, you're automatically part of the problem. You're part of the problem if you're not part of the solution. Look, relapse doesn't mean failure, okay? One of the most important things for recovering addicts and all of you who are around them to realize is that the presence of the warning signs that I gave you, or even a full-blown relapse, it doesn't equal failure. You're human. Your loved one's human. And even the strongest people of faith sometimes experience moments of weakness. We are weak. In our weakness, he is strong. But listen, we need help. If we were meant to do this stuff by ourselves, God would have created Adam and just walked away. Your loved one needs you. They're not capable of helping themselves. They don't have the ability. They are powerless over it. And let me tell you, and let me suggest, you may very well be powerless over helping them, and you need assistance. The truth is that relapses are common for people attempting to recover from drug and alcohol addictions. In fact, listen to this. According to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, approximately 60% of all recovering addicts experience a relapse at some point in their lives. And, this rate is basically equal to the relapse rate of those with other chronic illnesses, you guys. I'm thinking high blood pressure and asthma and diabetes. So remember, just because your loved one starts using again, it doesn't mean that they're hopeless. And just because they start using again, it doesn't mean you're hopeless. Sure, you may have done some things, backwards, but it's time to let others that know what they're doing step in and save the life of your loved one. Everybody's worth it. Everybody's savable. Everybody. Well, they're never going to change. Well, if you're going to put that on them, they may not. If they hear that, well, they don't even have to hear you say that. If they sense that, that's enough for them to keep using. It's so important. It's so important for you to understand that the only time you fail is the very last time you try. Do you hear me? The only time you fail is the very last time you try. If you're listening to this on our YouTube station, you may be listening, this may be years later. It still rings true today. If you're listening on an archive, this could be months. This could be years later. This all still rings true today. Well, they've been going to AA meetings and it just doesn't work. Really? Perhaps they're not working it. Maybe that's you. Maybe you're listening to this show and you're the relapse king or queen. Maybe that's a title you've given yourself. I'm going to challenge you on that. Throw that title away. You are a worthwhile person, and God loves you just exactly how you are, character defects, relapse mode, and all. You're not the relapse king. You're not the relapse queen. You are a valuable human being. Your loved one is a valuable human being. Don't throw yourself away. Don't throw them away. And if you're participating in enabling them to continue to do what they're doing, that's exactly what you're doing, is you're throwing them away. Everybody's worth saving. Well, they don't believe in God. I don't care. Do you? There's a chapter in the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous called We Agnostics. Agnostic is a Greek word. It simply means no knowledge. A meaning no, Gnostic coming from the word Gnosticism, knowledge, no knowledge, or lack of knowledge, or not sure. Aren't we all, even the people that are the strongest declarers of the faith, aren't we all unbelievers at some part of our day? Aren't we all a little agnostic? It's really easy for the Monty Man to believe that his family's going to make it through another month, and financially we struggle, but man, God comes through, and we just believe with all our heart, soul, and mind, and we know beyond a shadow of a doubt. And then all of a sudden we get a notice in the mail that says our electricity is going to be shut off, and all of a sudden the faith goes right out the window. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Are we going to make it? We're never going to make it. We can't keep up on these bills. All of a sudden we slip into being agnostic. We start doubting. We're not sure. Where'd our faith go? We're all human, you guys. So maybe your loved one doesn't believe in God. Maybe they're agnostic. Maybe they're not sure. That's all right. I am telling you that is not necessary right now. What's necessary is that you allow somebody to step in and help you do for you what you cannot do for yourself or your loved one. We'll take care of the spiritual stuff on this journey, but you can't let that stop you. And I know some of you personally that are saying to yourself, well, so-and-so just won't, they won't concede to any of this because they just don't believe in God. Would you knock that off? Please. That's just a lie from the enemy of your soul. I want you to get this. I do. I'm harping on this today. I am. So many people are dying. And with the legalization of even more mind-altering chemicals for the use of pleasure, it's going to get worse. And you're going to need to be able to say, you know what, I didn't cause it, I can't control it, and I can't cure it. And by the way, may I suggest that if you are a loved one and you're not getting any help yourself, that it is absolutely vital to the health of your loved one that you do, and to your own sanity, because if they come home from treatment and they're back into the same environment that they left, they will fall right back into what they did before. And it'll be on your shoulders because you haven't provided for them a clean and sober environment. Just because there's not drugs or alcohol in your home doesn't mean you have a clean and sober environment. Sobriety is a state of mind. A cleanliness of heart is a state of a spiritual condition. See what I'm saying? You need help too. There's Al-anon Family Services. There's Al-anon for teenagers. There's adult children of alcoholics. There's programs for kids. There's help. If you call Matt Brown, 888-762-7557, he can help put you in touch with those organizations. I'm going to give you another number. You can call me. If you need some resources, I will look at. I'll go to any length I can. I don't care where you are in the 50 states of this great country. I will help you find the contacts that you need to get help. But you've got to let us do that. We have a tremendous amount of resources here at Take 12 Radio. Almost 30 years of experience in this arena, and we've been broadcasting now. We're in our 11th year. Thank you, God. And we're not doing this just, for our own kicks and, giggles. We have resources. We know people. We do. And there is there is an availability. These folks are available. This availability that is granted to you is there, and it doesn't cost you 1 red cent to email us, take12radio@comcast.net, or to call Matt Brown at this 800 number, 888-762-7557. I hope you've written that down. If you don't know somebody that needs help, or you don't know somebody that knows somebody, then you haven't been paying attention to life. You may not be real close buddies with them, and they may only be an acquaintance. But I guarantee you, there's people in your life that need this information. It's vital. Here's some more resources. Listen to this.
Listen, do you have a loved one that is suffering from a drug or alcohol addiction and is unable or even unwilling to seek help? Well, if you've tried unsuccessfully on your own to get that individual the help they desperately need, then an intervention may be the only chance you have of saving that person's life. Here's the number I want you to call. 877-487-1599. You don't have to wait until your loved one hits bottom. By then, it could be too late. Call Broad Highway Recovery now. 877-487-1599. If not you, then who?
Last year, I went with my dad on a business trip to the other side of the country. I'll never forget the look of hopelessness in his eyes when he realized there were no 12-step meetings in the area. You see, my dad was an alcoholic, and he really needed a drink that day. With today's technology, I can't help but think that there must have been a way for people like my dad to get help when they can't find a meeting.
Well, now there is. Introducing Sober Chat, the first location-sensitive mobile chat application designed to instantly connect people with the common goal to stay sober. For only 99 cents a year, you can download Sober Chat to your smart device or phone, or better yet, give it as the gift of life to someone you love. Visit SoberChatApp.com and register today.
Maybe if my dad could have spoken with another alcoholic that night, it wouldn't be just me and my mom now.
Okay. You see my point, you guys? There's no reason why your loved one should go without help. There are so many resources. I've given you 6 today. Just in the last 49.37 minutes. 6. Actually 7. With our email and our phone number here, 541-971-6445. We're here to help you. It is a sad, sad, sad thing indeed to lose a loved one behind any kind of addiction. To watch their children mourn the loss of their parent. To watch a family be destroyed from the inside out due to addictive illness. When all the while there have been resources available, and some of you still want to try and fix them, and you can't. Wake up. It's okay to let go and say, I don't know what to do. Help me. Help me help them. I want you to hear this song by Steve Dan Mills, a recovered alcoholic and addict himself, a recovery recording artist. This is a song that he wrote from personal experience. I want you to listen to it very, very closely, and we'll come back and close out the show.
My heart is pounding and my stomach's in knots. My mind is racing faster with each tick of the clock. I believed him when he swore he'd never use that stuff again. But now his bed is so empty, and for days there's been no word from him. Where is my child tonight? Is he out on the edge? Is he out of his mind? I've done everything I know to do with all of my might. Where is my child tonight? I drove through the neighborhood and I walked those mean streets. I begged those using buddies for the secrets they keep, and I reached out at their silence and almost lost control. Now I question my own sanity as I search deep within my soul. Where is my child tonight? Is she out on the edge? Is she out of her mind? I've done everything I know to do, now I'm dying of fright. Where is my child tonight? I both wish and I wish not to hear the ring of that phone with the news that he's alright, or with the news that she's gone. I am so powerless to change them, and I know now that it's true. I can't make it all by myself, oh Lord, won't you show me what to do? Where are our children tonight? Are they out on the edge? Are they out of their minds? We've done everything we know to do, Lord, show us the light. Where are our children tonight? I've done everything I know to do with all of my might. Where is my child? Where is my child? Where is my child tonight?
Steve Dan Mills, where's my child tonight? Where is your child? Do you know? Where's your husband? Where's your wife? Where's your loved one? Your cousin, your aunt, your uncle, your grandparents, your grandkids? Do you know? And if you don't, why not? Do you need some help? You can start right here, today. Call Freedom Interventions. Ask for Matt Brown, 888-762-7557. Please tell him that I recommended him to you. You can start today. He will find some way. He will find somebody. He will find an answer for you. But you've got to be willing to go to any length for your loved one. They deserve your best shot at life for them. They are powerless. They are sick. They don't have the ability to help themselves. Treatment does not have to be voluntary to be effective. Well, they got to want it. No, you got to want it for them first. And let me tell you something. Most of us didn't wake up saying, "Oh, I really want to go to treatment." All right. Take12radio.com. Our number, 541-971-6445. Our email, take12radio@comcast.net. Bless you guys. Until our next broadcast, this is the Monty Man, and I'm wishing God's perfect serenity for you.
This has been a broadcast of KHLT Recovery Broadcasting.
They fell in love. Kitty, 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 kitty.